In this video, we're going to have a look at taking a product page, a product news website here that just has a standard WordPress 2022 theme. And what we're going to do is upgrade that to an Oxygen theme. And to do that, we're going to use a staging site using the WPvivid Plugins Pro and their staging option. So to get started, we'll just select those two and activate. That'll get the plugin activated. Licensing has all been sorted already, so I'm going to head straight to the staging sites, and I have an option here to create a staging site or a fresh WP install. I don't want to do that, so we'll create a staging site, and I'm just going to call it stage, and we're just updating the prefix in the database for those tables, and then also what to copy to the staging site is set here. So you can see you have several options. We're just going to leave everything as is. We're just going to copy across everything. And then once we've finished our website, we're just going to copy everything back. So there we have the settings, and now we'll create the staging site. So we'll say OK to begin the process. While the process is running, you will see that there is another bar that runs across the bottom here, and that just gives you an idea of the kind of progress that you're making. So just another tip is when you're working with staging in live, maybe you want to make a backup of your existing website so that if moving from staging back to your live website has an issue. So here we're making a staging site that we'll be working on. A suggestion then is to make another staging site, which is the original website, and just keep that then as a backup. So if you do copy the updated site over and there's an issue, you can then just overwrite that with the backup version of the website. So then you would make two staging sites, one that you'll actively work on, and then another one just before you move your changes across, which is then the backup. And that's just quite possibly the easiest way then just to restore things if there's an issue. So we're just waiting here for this to finish. The staging site has now been created, and let's head over there. So we'll open that in a new tab, and I'm going to close that one. Just the server doing a verification to make sure that we're a human being and not a bot. And now I'm going to log in. Right, so logging into the staging site, and here we are in the staging site, and you'll see this orange bar to indicate that we're in the staging site. So one thing that I know that we have to do before we get started is head over to plugins and add the Oxygen plugin. So add new, upload, choose file, Oxygen, and install. Right, that should be pretty quick. Right, Oxygen installed, and then we're going to go ahead and activate the plugin. And this is a live plugin, so one thing that I do want to disable here is just this plugin over here. Right. So that's it. We are now ready to get working. Oxygen is installed, and I'm going to head over here down to Oxygen. But before I do that, I know that because I'm working on the staging side, sometimes you will pick up an issue with permalinks. So we want to make sure that the permalinks are set to plain. If it's not set to plain, you may find that you have issues where you're trying to save a template in Oxygen or a post, and you'll get an error message, or in Oxygen it just doesn't save the template. So now I'm going to head over to templates, and we know we need to go through the process of creating the basic layout. So the first template we'll do is create the main one. So main, publish, and we also know that we need to make a template for the page. So we'll publish that as well. I'm just making the templates. I'm not allocating any settings. And then we need a new template here. We know it will be single post. Publish that. Add new template. And it'll be archive. Publish. Right, so now we've just created the templates. Now we can go in and start working on them. And so the first one I'm going to work on then is the main. So we edit with Oxygen. Oxygen should load up pretty quickly, even though it's the first time. There isn't a lot of resources that are loading up here. Right, so that's loaded, and I'm just going to open up the structure pane, and let's add, we know the top one is going to be a header builder. Then we have the inner content, and then we have the section. So the section here I'm going to rename to footer. So rename. Right. Then in my header row, I'm going to add some text. So the logo at the moment is in text format. So we'll just keep that in a text format. Size and spacing, and we'll just add 15 pixels. Right, so there we've added the logo, and then maybe what I want to do on the right hand side here is add a menu. So I'm going to go to WordPress, go to menu, and I'm going to add a menu, and I'm just going to drag that to the far right. Now I haven't created a menu yet, so that'll be the next task on the list. When it comes to hover and active, we do want to get rid of that border that appears when we hover, and that's what we have at the moment. Then we are ready to go and have a look at the site. But before we do that, let's go back to admin and let's just create the page template. At the moment, we only have the main template set up, so looking at a page will not show what we want it to show. So we go to page, open anyway. Going to get that message that Oxygen is already open all the time. You can just ignore that. This should be a pretty quick load as well. Right, there we have it. And mistake on my part. Didn't specify what this template is for. So select main. And now we go to singular, and this is pages, update. And now we'll go and edit the template. Right, so that's loading super fast. Right, there you can see the top menu. There's our footer, and we're just going to add some content here. So the first thing I'm going to do is add a section. We'll open up the structure pane, and inside that section, I'm just going to add some inner content. That'll pull through the content on the page and also enable me to edit with Oxygen. Right, just got to get the inner content there. And what I'm also going to do is just drop that down to about 30. So there we have some content pulling through from the sample page, which is what we want. So if we preview that, you'll see we're in the stage site. There's our product news, and yeah, everything is looking as it should when it comes to the sample pages. So we want to just see how that menu is going to work. Now, I do know that I have some categories in my blog. So what I want to do for the menu, go to appearance, go to menus, and then we'll create a new menu, and I'll just call it main. And I'll just go to my categories, and I'm just going to pull in all these categories, just add them to the menu, save the menu, And now when I go to the website, you'll see that that menu is being, okay, it's not going to do it on this page because that's the home page. We haven't set that template. So let's go to pages, sample page, view, and you'll see that furniture, general, weight loss, those items have been applied, but we haven't applied a template. So if I go to one of those archives, there won't be anything to see, or not anything nice to see. So let's go and set up that archive page. So here we are in Oxygen. I'm going to go back to admin and go back to the templates. Would be nice if we could go straight back to templates. Right, here we are on the archive page. Let's edit that. But before we edit that, let's just assign the main, and let's also specify the archive. So post type here will be post, and under taxonomies, we're going to do all categories, and we're also going to do all tags. Let's update that. Right, now we edit that with Oxygen. Should also load pretty quickly as we haven't really got a lot of additional resources on this website. So there we go, just getting the archive ready to edit. Right, so here we are on the archive page. Open up the structure panel, add a section, and in this case now I'm actually going to load, let's just do an easy post so that we can load our post. So there's the easy post, and now we can set a template. So I know that I have a couple of different articles on here, and yeah, I haven't decided quite what kind of layouts I'm looking for. So we can experiment with a couple. That's looking interesting, but too busy. We have a newspaper one, a little bit dull with a gray. There's a grid with background. Ooh, that's a little bit too much. There's a 6 columns. So yeah, also a little bit confusing. Suddenly we're back to the standard, and it's so much easier on the eyes. And before we had this horizontal layout, so maybe I'm just going to go with something similar. So let's just see what we got here. Let's just go with a list view with the image on the left and the information, product information on the right hand side. So that's very quick with the easy post, and then I'm going to save that. So now when we're looking at our website and I go to my archive pages, there we go. I should see the nicely done with the image and the teaser information, and that's all done here in the easy post with these templates, preset templates. So I'm just going to leave that for now. And what I'm also going to do is nothing else left for me to do there now. But now we also want to just have a look, and you'll see that if we look at a single post, it's not looking good. And that's just because we haven't set a template yet. So from there, I'm going to go back to admin, and now I'm going to do my single post. So here, once again, go to templates. So there's single post. Let's edit that with Oxygen. But before we do that, I need to set that as the single post template. So main and singular posts, update, and now we can edit with Oxygen. Alright, so first time loading up, and once again should be pretty quick. Not much on there at the moment. Alright, so while that's going, what I'm going to do here now is I'm going to create that backup staging site that I spoke about. So create a staging site, and we'll just call that backup A, just in case we need that. And we'll get that to create that backup for us. Right, here we are on the single post page. So first thing, then open up the structure, and now what I'm going to do is open up a section, and let's just add some elements. So I'm going to head over here to WordPress, and I'm going to go to dynamic data, and I'm going to add the title. Then I'm going to add a div. So let's just go back here to the basics and add a div. Let's make that a horizontal alignment, and then back to WordPress, and in this particular piece of dynamic data I'm going to add the date, and I'm going to add the author, and I think that's all that I'm going to add in there for now. And what I'm going to do is just give that a margin of 5 and 5, and also then on the category we're going to go 5 and 5. So there we have the title as well. I'm just going to change that font weight down to 500 and a little bit of a gap, and then below here I'm just going to open up a little bit of a gap. And now what we're going to do is add some content. So let's go to the content tab, and that'll pull through the post content, and there you see the post content. And what I'm going to do is make that a little bit narrower than the rest of the items on the page. So size and spacing, I'm going to say max width of 800 pixels, and then to center it we just go with auto left and auto right margin. So that will be our post. And then when it comes to categories, you have a choice of adding the category at the top, and what I'm going to do now is just add that category at the bottom. So go back to these WordPress dynamic data options, and I don't have any tags, so I'm just going to add in the category at the bottom. So I do want to create a bit of a gap there, and then that's the category, and in front of that category we can add an icon. So what I'll do is I'll just wrap that with a div. Once again, set that to horizontal, add an icon quickly. Let's get an icon and just move that icon to the beginning. And what we'll do is we'll take that div, and I'm just going to make it 100%, and we're going to center everything right, and we're also going to align everything up. We're going to reduce the size there, and I'm just going to give that margin on both sides of a 5, and on the text. Right, and we don't want the thumbs up, maybe we want a tag, so let's just have a look. Right, so that's just to indicate that it's a category, and yeah, what we might also want to do is, yeah, maybe just leave it at that. Right, so there we have the post. Let's move that up. Right, something like that, and we'll save that. Now when I head over to the website and I select a post, you'll see there we have the post information tag at the bottom. So let's just head over to general. Okay, it's not pulling up the general. Now it could just be something to do with the you'll see that the category is changing, and there's the weight loss. Let's choose one of these products, and there you can see this information is part of the post. This is the author, that's the title, the date, and then at the bottom here we have the category. The rest of the content here is pulled straight through in the content, so that's looking good. The only thing I see that we might want to do is make a slightly bigger gap, and you know what, let's just center everything there like that. Probably make more sense then. Save that, Head back to the website, and now everything runs down the middle. Yeah, that does make a bit more sense. All right, so that's looking good. And if we look at that in mobile view, that looks fine. Let's just change that line height. Typography 1.2. And if we look at it on the smaller mobile screens, we'll also just want to change that typography, something like that. Okay, so that's working. That looks good. We can save that. Right, let's now just go back to admin. Let's then just have a look quickly at the mobile view for the archive. Yeah, that's going to work. Text is a little bit big, but really this is just to show working in Oxygen and then taking your site back to live. So there we have everything set up. All right, what I do want to do is add a link to product news, so it links to the home page. I've just left that off because if I do click on that at the moment, the standard home page, it would go to the live site. So we do need to now go and design that home page. So I'm going to head over to pages here, and I'm going to create a home page. So add new, and let's create a home page and publish. Right, now what I'm going to do is well, I don't have to head back to Oxygen. I can just go from here and say edit with Oxygen. It's going to use the standard page layout that we created earlier. So this should load pretty quickly. There's no content. Right, nearly there. Right, so there we have our home page loaded up. And in this case, it's just going to be a general listing of all the products on the website. So I'm going to add a section, and then in that section, I'm just going to go with an easy post again. You could, of course, use a repeater. I'm just going to go with the easy post quickly, and because it's the home page, maybe we want to do something different. Food. It's not going to work. I'm not sure that's going to work. Something like that. Let's just get this query going because at the moment it's not picking up anything. So let's say post back, apply the query parameters. Right, now what we can do is, let's not worry about that just yet. Count will be all. Post type, post filtering. There's no specific filtering that we need, and we're just going to do an order. We'll order by date and descending. So that's pretty standard. But what we do want to do is we do want more than just the single post, single post, single post. So that's not going to work for us like that. So let's go back to Easy Post and use a preset, and let's just go with the image on the left is what we have on the individual pages. Well, let's just go with that for now. Let's save that. And now we want to be able to get to the home page. So to do that, we just remove that part, hit stage, and now what we should be seeing is the home page. This is being set on the home page, and that might be to do with the permalink structure. So let's leave it with that at the moment, and let's just head back to admin. And also we need to tell WordPress to pull through to change the home page. So settings, we go to reading, and let's change this to a static page. And now we're going to set the home page to home page. And now when we refresh, right, there is that home page that we created. Not very exciting. Let's maybe go back here and let's edit that with Oxygen, and maybe just apply one of the other templates just to make it more interesting. Right, so just loading up. Right, load it up. And we go to the easy post and let's use a different preset. Let's go with this newspapers layout. It's not the one that we would normally choose. We can go to templates, CSS, and if you wanted to change that gray, you could come in here and change the filter here. Let's see if that does. Oh, there we go. So we'll collapse the editor, bring some color in. It looks a lot better. And let's save that. Right, so for all intents and purposes, let's go back to admin. We've created our website in the staging environment. And the last thing that I'm going to do now is head back to templates. And I'm just going to go into main, and I'm just going to add a link now to my product news logo. So we're just going to wait for that to load up quickly. Right, so here we are, and what I'm going to do now is select that item. It's a bit annoying when these things keep blocking what you want to do. Just a bit of patience. Right, now we have that link applied, and what I'm going to also do is just give that a bit of a box shadow. Better move that down to somewhere around there. North 5. And you'll see now that we have this at the bottom, that little shadow. Make it down a bit more. Okay, so there we have our website. We'll save that. Let's go and look at the front end. And you'll see there we have our website, we have our categories, and if I go and have a look at a particular post, you'll see that I have the post, and if I then go through to the archive, I then have the archive view of what's available. Right, so now we want to move this to our live website. So all we need to do now is go back to our staging environment. In the meantime, we did make this backup just in case when we move this from staging to live, it's not exactly what we wanted. We can just copy the backup back as the live site. So what I'm going to do now is copy staging to live, all files in DB, and OK. And in this window now, you'll see the log of the files as they're being transferred. And there's no slider to tell us how long to go. So a little bit of patience while the information is copied across. Right, so the website has been moved across, and let's go and have a look. So we'll open that in a new tab, and now we're looking at the live site. So you'll see we're back to the black bar. That's the standard URL. Let's select the URL. That's working. I can go to furniture, general, weight loss, gym equipment. Right, and everything is working as it should. And what I can do now, from the home page, let's just go and read more. So there we have our heading. So everything is pretty much as we laid it out pagination is working. So everything is working pretty much as we laid it out within Oxygen in the staging site, and now we've copied it across and we have the new look on the website. Let's have a look at that in mobile. So right, so seems to be working fine. A little bit of a spacing issue there, but that can be set up within Oxygen. So yeah, everything working just fine. If you wanted to make some further updates, it would be a case of going here to your staging site, making the update, copying it across, and then it would update it on the live site. So that's just to show you how working with WPvivid, it is possible then to take a website, move it into the staging environment, add Oxygen, make your changes, and then move that site back to your domain with those new settings. If you aren't happy with something and you find or feel that you need to change back to your original site, then just a case of going in and using that second backup to staging that you created. And if we copy this back, then the original site will be restored to the domain. So I hope you enjoyed that video, and thank you for watching.